Police say they found two young children living in a filthy home with animals, including pigs, and the parents were nowhere to be found. We're in Whitley County with the story now at 4.
Beautiful fall weather rolls on here across central and eastern Kentucky. I've got a cold front that shows up before the weekend arrives in just a moment.
And it's a big night at a Lexington winery for country music fans who've been waiting to see Bryan in concert.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Palumbo. It's another beautiful day across the Bluegrass. Here's a live look at the campus of Morehead State University, where it's sunny and in the upper 70s right now. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at the forecast. And Chris, a nice day at your alma mater.
Yeah, it is very nice out there on the campus of Morehead State, really everywhere across the entire area. Seeing sunshine, a little bit of cloud cover. Those are ice crystal clouds that are showing up right now as well. It's those little thin, wispy looking clouds right now at the station. Winchester Road, 78 degrees, humidity 44%. It is way, way down there. Winds really not too strong coming at us from the east. Certainly not as strong as what we've had over the past few days. Current defender, nothing across central and eastern Kentucky, getting a much-deserved little break in the action over the past few days. Out and about this evening with temperatures mainly dropping from the 70s through the 60s. Nice weather is going to continue until a cold front arrives. Jennifer, that shows up on the hour-by-hour forecast when I come back in a few minutes. We'll time that into central and eastern Kentucky. All good things must come to an end. 7-day forecast here in about 15 minutes.
Thanks, Chris. New at 4, two southern Kentucky parents are in jail after police say they found their two young children living in a filthy home with pigs, dogs, and a rabbit. And the man watching them had warrants out for his arrest. Phil Pendleton is in Whitley County with our top story at 4.
A complaint about a horse actually brought animal control here to this Whitley County home. But I'm told that the animal control officer then became more concerned for the children he saw. The home is located on Old Mill Road just outside Corbin. Police say the animal control officer called police, and while checking out a horse, he saw a small child running around outside with no adult around. That officer then banged on the door for 30 minutes before police say anyone came to the door. The person who finally showed up, 57-year-old James Lockaby, was wanted on warrants from Knox County on child endangerment charges. Police say when the parents, Joshua and Aurora Jenkins, showed up, they were also arrested.
I went in, and inside the residence was two twins. Both of them was sitting in a chair. One of them was completely naked.
We spoke with both parents. They claim they did nothing wrong. Hear from them coming up at 5 o'clock. But for now, in Whitley County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Police also arrested a fourth person, Jonathan Dawson, who arrived with the parents. Police say he was wanted on warrants out of Laurel County. Hundreds of Lexington parents have signed an online petition urging city officials to move trick-or-treating to Friday, October 30th. This year, there's the UK-Tennessee football game at Commonwealth Stadium and the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland, both on Halloween. The events are expected to bring more than 100,000 people to Lexington. Mayor Jim Gray has said there are no plans to change trick-or-treat times. Another big event is tonight in Lexington, where gates open for Bryan's concert in about an hour. Talon Farm and Winery is expecting about 20,000 people for the concert. It was supposed to be last Thursday, but was rescheduled due to all the rain. They even brought in helicopters to help dry out the field. Organizers say despite the disappointment of having to change the date, country music fans are in for a great night.
Everyone was upset. Customers, Talon, we were upset. Bryan was upset. I'm sure you all heard him speak. But today the weather is just amazing, and it's going to be an even better night than the last time because of the great weather. Everyone's going to be in a better mood. So we hope everyone has a great time, and we're sorry for the people who did not get to come, but we're happy that it's on today, and I know their team is very, very happy.
Lexington police officers will be on Tates Creek Road to help direct traffic, which is expected to be heavy. We'll have a live report from Talon Farm and Winery on WKYT News at 5. Another big country act will perform in Lexington next week. Montgomery Gentry will play a concert before the UK Auburn game next Thursday night. The group features Kentucky natives Eddie Montgomery and Troy Gentry. Also, Eastern Kentuckian Marlena Van Hoos will sing the national anthem. We're working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Sam Dick is in the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon, Jennifer. The Model Laboratory School in Richmond will be closed the rest of the week after a threatening message was found in a bathroom on the EKU campus. Eastern Kentucky University says the message was found Sunday night in a men's restroom in the Powell building. The university is offering a $10,000 reward for information about the person responsible for that message.
I think because of that reward being offered, it sends a message that we're not going to tolerate this kind of threat or anyone trying to harm people on our campuses. So we have been getting a number of calls, some information. Police are following up on every one of those, trying to determine if there is a connection and if we can identify who's responsible for this.
The FBI is involved. Their Joint Terrorism Task Force is helping EKU police with the investigation. EKU was opened today. We have some new details on a bizarre story out of northern Kentucky. Police say a man was attacked by a large python. Police say the man was cleaning the snake's cage at the reptile shop he owns in Newport when the snake bit him, then wrapped itself around his body. When police got there, they say the man was unconscious. They were able to get the 20-foot-long snake off of him and back in its cage. It weighed 125 pounds. The man was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. You will hear from the woman in the reptile shop at the time who called 911 on WKYT News coming up at 4:30. That's a look at some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thank you, Sam. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. Writings left behind by the Oregon Community College killer are shedding new light on his mental state. Police say Christopher Harper Mercer, who killed 9 people last week, wrote that everyone around him was crazy and the world was shrinking. He also ranted about not having a girlfriend. President Obama will travel to Roseburg Friday in the wake of the massacre. South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is urging people to remain cautious and vigilant over the next 36 to 48 hours after massive flooding in the state continues to cause major problems. A number of dams have been breached, which could lead to a new round of flooding in other parts of the state. Polo Sandoval has the latest from Columbia.
The skies have cleared, but the dangers from rising waters continue in South Carolina.
Just because there is no rain and just because the sun is out, we are now looking at downstreams, waters, and other areas that are going to be affected.
At least 9 dams have breached or failed since the record rainfall started over the weekend. Mandatory evacuations are in effect for some of the hardest hit areas, and it could get worse.
We're starting to see that the Midlands, now all that water is going to start moving down to the low country, and so we are going to be extremely careful.
At least 14 people have died due to the storm system from both drownings and traffic accidents. More evacuations are likely as floodwaters rise in certain areas. The mayor of Columbia says keeping people safe is the primary focus.
We made the priority of saving lives our #1 priority, and then making sure that people have some basic quality of life, have shelter, food, have clean water to drink.
Moving forward, quality of life will be a challenge for many residents. Some will have to rebuild everything they lost.
Sad because people have lost their businesses, they've lost homes, and it affected everybody across the board. It did not discriminate.
Meteorologists say some rivers might not crest for another 2 weeks. Early estimates put the damage from the storms in the billions of dollars. In Columbia, South Carolina, I'm Polo Sandoval reporting.
The flooding has also shut down a 90-mile stretch of I-95 in South Carolina. You can't stay there just yet, but the new 21C Museum Hotel in downtown Lexington is now accepting reservations. Crews are still renovating the old First National Bank building at Main and Upper. You can start making reservations for April 15th and beyond. At last check, room rates for the night of the Kentucky Derby started just under $400. You can now buy breakfast at McDonald's any time of the day. It's part of the fast food giant's plan to turn around slumping sales. The menu includes Egg McMuffins and pancakes, but there's some controversy brewing. McGriddle sandwiches are not included, and in some locations there are no hash browns because they're cooked in the same area as French fries. The New York Times is reporting on a developing fantasy football scandal. 2 major fantasy sports companies are involved. A worker is accused of using insider knowledge to win hundreds of thousands of dollars. Jeff Glore reports.
On game days, and seemingly every day this fall, the ads are everywhere. Now, so is the money.
1 week fantasy football leagues are paying $75 million a week.
But the business model is now under the microscope after allegations of what essentially amounts to insider trading.
Just pick your sport.
According to a report in the New York Times, a DraftKings employee admitted he released early data on what specific players were most used in starting lineups ahead of the NFL's third week. Getting that early information ahead of the curve could serve as an advantage. The employee went on to win $350,000 that week betting on a rival fantasy football website, FanDuel.
It gives somebody an edge.
In a joint statement, the industry leaders, DraftKings and FanDuel, defended their practices, in part saying employees with access to this data are rigorously monitored by internal fraud control teams, and we have no evidence that anyone has misused it. The sites use a relatively new format, paying out big cash prizes on a daily or weekly basis instead of season-long traditional fantasy leagues. The federal government doesn't define it as gambling, instead calling it a game of skill, not chance.
This business is very unregulated. I mean, seriously, we've come a long way from the dorm room playing amongst your friends to now the corporate sphere that is fantasy football.
But for the nearly 60 million people who take part in this game of skill, the question now is whether they're also being suckered.
Jeff Glor, CBS News, New York.
DraftKings and FanDuel both ban employees from taking part in gaming on their own sites and have now temporarily barred employees from taking part in any other rival sites as well. Everything is so awesome at Lego. It's now one of the world's top 100 most valuable brands. The Danish toy maker broke into the top 100 list for the first time this week, according to research by the consulting firm Interbrand. Researchers say Lego is a legacy brand that stays relevant by continually evolving. Lego is now the 83rd most valuable brand globally, bigger than Nokia, Gap, and Pizza Hut. It has 12,000 employees and is still owned by the family. The world's three most valuable brands are Apple, Google, and Coca-Cola. Family-friendly event that gets you moving for a moving cause.
Deanne Stevens out and about today, joining us from the Shriners Hospital to explain. Hi, Deanne.
Good afternoon, guys. We are here at Shriners Hospital for Children in Lexington, where this coming Saturday they have this very cool event called Walk and Roll. You can come be a part of it. It is open to the public. Aaron Gillespie is with us. Aaron is with Spina Bifida Association of Kentucky. Why do you guys do this every year?
October is Spina Bifida Awareness Month, so it's a time for our families to come together, celebrate, and raise awareness in our community.
You guys had a big celebration last year, complete with Halloween costumes and a lot of fun for the kids. Tell us about it.
Every year we have a carnival for our walk and roll. This is our second year here in Lexington. Last year was a blast. Kids dressed up, had carnival, trick-or-treating. So it's fun for the whole family. Get to eat and walk and celebrate. So this year we do encourage everyone to come out in the community. You can dress up. But it is more like the fall festival theme this year.
Talk about Spina Bifida and how many people it affects here in Kentucky and how this money raised is going to stay right here.
All proceeds for this walk and roll, it is our largest fundraiser of the year, goes to help support our free programs and services throughout the state of Kentucky and southern Indiana. So this is huge for us. Every bit of it goes to our kids and our adults with Spina Bifida.
Okay, how do folks get signed up for Saturday?
They can either come the day of the walk or they can sign up at sbakwalk.org.
And it is a fun event. Come be a part of it. 9:30 on Saturday morning here at Shriners Hospital for Children. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about. Back to you guys.
It's time for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. General Mills is recalling nearly 2 million boxes of Cheerios and Honey Nut Cheerios. They're labeled gluten-free but may contain wheat. The boxes have the code July 2016 LD. A new study finds high school students in states with certain anti-bullying laws are 24% less likely to report acts of bullying. The study released by JAMA Pediatrics also finds students are 20% less likely to be victims of cyberbullying. But not all laws are the same. Researchers say the lower risk is only if the law is recommended by the U.S. Department of Education. 49 states, including Kentucky, have anti-bullying laws. Older patients take longer to recover from concussions, according to a new study in the journal Radiology. Researchers found concussion patients in their 20s had significantly reduced symptoms at their follow-up visits, but there was no significant change of symptoms in patients who were in their 50s and 60s. Doubling the recommended minimal amount of physical activity lowers the risk of heart failure by 20%. The study in Circulation suggests the minimum of at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week should be increased.